Restaurant owners, if you are looking to get support or education with your restaurant, I've got someone here that you need to get to know. His name is Joe Reinstein from the Digital Restaurant Association. Joe, tell us what the heck is the Digital Restaurant Association and why is it so important for restaurant owners today?
Hey, Court. So happy to be here. Thank you so much. The Digital Restaurant Association is a nonprofit, independent coalition of restaurants coming together to protect and promote their digital business.
Why
And it's
now? It's only
critical
been around a
now
couple
because,
years, right?
yeah, yep, we're in our second year, and it's critical because there's just massive wave of digital disruption facing the restaurant industry, and what we want that to be is digital transformation. It's supposed to make our lives easier. It's supposed to improve profitability, streamline operations, increase revenue, all those things. And the pandemic really created and intensified this process. The restaurant industry was sort of slow in adopting new technology. It's a people business. We do right by our customers every day in the presence of our customers one-on-one in our restaurants. And, maybe before the pandemic, we were doing 8 to 10% of our sales online or for takeout and delivery. Suddenly it's 30, 40, 50%. The pandemic, meant that all restaurants were closed. The only way to stay in business was through online orders and takeout and delivery. And the third-party delivery platforms saved the industry and allowed us to stay in business, save employees, keep serving food and reaching customers. And so now coming out of the pandemic, we're years out, and it's fundamentally changed consumer behaviors. It's fundamentally changed the industry. And I think for the better, we now have access to incredibly powerful technology, not only to reach online customers and manage their orders, but in every aspect of the business. And so the Digital Restaurant Association was formed to help restaurants access this technology and improve their operations. And specifically, we do three things. We do public policy advocacy because we want to make sure that the policy environment is a pro-restaurant, pro-small business, pro-business environment. We also have a wealth of educational information with a massive education hub that is just resources for restaurants on every aspect of their business, how to harness technology, how to be online, how to increase your online visibility, how to convert third-party customers into first-party customers, etc. And all of that is available to our membership. And then also technology. We want to be helpful with restaurants to connect with best-in-class technology that helps solve specific problems that restaurants have. So that's what the Digital Restaurant Association is about. And again, I'm super happy to be here to talk to you about what we're doing.
Yeah, so that's great. Let's dive in on one point you made, which is delivery. Big
Yeah.
disruption in the industry. Like you said, saved restaurants a couple years ago, but now that we're a couple years away from it, there's some considerations about it, right? What are you
Yeah.
doing to advocate and help restaurants as they navigate delivery and other kind of third-party systems?
Yeah. The bottom line is there are delivery partners that have very favorable terms for restaurants, meaning low fees, no commissions, and sharing access to all the data that's involved and customer and order information. And then there's third-party delivery companies that don't share any of that data, hold all of that customer information and monetize it for their own business benefit, not for the benefit of the restaurant, and charge super high fees, oftentimes hidden fees in the commissions that they charge customers. So What we're trying to do is make restaurants aware that there are other options. Chow Now, Delivered, First Delivery are just some of the digital delivery companies that help increase online visibility, but also to manage the delivery ecosystem for restaurants that are on more favorable terms for restaurants. Low, no fees, low, no commissions, and sharing all of the customer and order information so restaurants know who's a new customer, who's an existing customer. Do they have a gluten allergy, a peanut allergy? Do they just prefer extra hot sauce or they don't want any hot sauce? These are types of information that as restaurant owners and operators, we have this information about our best customers, but we don't have it when they order through the super big tech delivery apps. And so we're trying to provide information for restaurants so that they know that there are more favorable terms out there for them so that they can create a delivery ecosystem for their restaurant that's more sustainable, that's more profitable, but also leads to a better customer experience. The other thing is it's not just with delivery. It's also just generally, the example I like to use is with your Google business profile. 69% of consumers are finding and discovering the restaurant that they want to eat at through Google. It's through search, it's through Google Maps, or it's through Apple Maps. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is we think that because DoorDash and Grubhub and Uber Eats have 99% share of this online delivery marketplace, that's the only way consumers are finding where to eat. And it's just not true. 69% are still finding it through Google. So you've got to get your Google business profile updated. And you have to constantly be updating it. You have to be loading pictures. Court, what do you think the average number of photos for a restaurant on Google in a profile is?
3. I'll say 3.
68. 68. So people are doing a great job loading those photos, but if you have 3, then you're not giving consumers the imagery that they need to make their restaurant selection and get excited about eating at your restaurant. So it's not just loading your menu, it's having photos of your menu options, it's having photos of your ambiance and of your restaurant. And they need to be good photos. This is what sells. People are making decisions based on imagery alone. And so if you get your Google profile in shape, you're going to be converting more customers through that platform. And I'm just going to dig a little bit deeper in it while we're talking about it. You can also set your preferred platforms. So your Yelp links, your TripAdvisor links, the reservation systems you use, the delivery partners that you partner with, you can set your preferred partner where you have negotiated the best and most favorable terms. So Google, if you think about Google as this massive search engine, that is a marketplace, if you will, but it has organic listings and it has paid listings. It has a paid and sponsored aspect, but it also has organic. So if you put in pizza near me, you're going to see the pizza place that is 500 feet from your house. Within the big third-party delivery apps, they are just pay to play. This isn't providing information to help you navigate your life and make it more convenient. This is a pay-to-play marketplace. And if you put in pizza near me and your favorite pizza place that's 500 feet from your house is not paying to play, you will not see them in that big tech delivery app. And so this is the dynamic for why we're saying, look, delivery can be profitable. I was talking to a restaurant court, and you're not gonna believe this. He basically said, oh yeah, I just view my business on the apps as marketing because I lose money there. So I just used it to get access to new customers, and then I hope I can convert them and that they'll stop ordering through the app because I lose money on every transaction. And I said, that's crazy. This could be 30, 40, 50% of your business. You've got to be profitable on every one of those transactions too. So don't get me going. I get extremely passionate about this, but that's why the Digital Restaurant Association exists, to help restaurants navigate this space. And in delivery, you've got to know that there are delivery companies that allow you to make a small profit on your transactions and share the customer information.
Well, hey, that is fabulous information. 68. I thought that was, I didn't think it was going to be that many. So you're saying 68 on average?
Yeah, that's
68
information from Google.
uploaded by the owner or by customers?
It could be both, but mostly by the owners.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
Yeah. So there's a lot, there's a lot to do there to share information, and it's totally free. Updating your Google business profile is free. You just have to get in there and do it.
Yep. And it's sometimes one of the last things we forget about, right? I mean, unless, with
Well,
reviews,
we set it
it's
and forget
good.
it. We set it and forget it. And then there's a Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, and we haven't updated our hours, and we're open, but Google may default to, well, it's a national holiday, people are closed. Unless you get in there and update it and let Google know, no, we are actually open, or we've altered our hours, they're not going to know. So you want your, and if consumers are going in and checking and they see, oh, closed, well, they're not coming. So it's like having a closed sign on your front door. It's not good for business.
Yeah. So education, restaurant owners might say, okay, how do I do this? What do I need to do? I know education's a big component of what you do. How can restaurants learn and get strategies? What can they do there?
It's so easy, Court. I mean, basically, a lot of it is do it yourself, and all of the educational materials are free. Well, you have to be a member of the DRA. If you only have one restaurant, it's free membership to the DRA. Most restaurants don't realize how affordable and inexpensive membership in the DRA is. It's literally like $50 a location. And if you only have one location, it's free. So we're making all of this information accessible, and you can just search for what you're looking for, what you need, whether it has to do with delivery or has nothing to do with delivery. It may have to do with sales forecasts and leveraging AI. It can be about, should I build a tech stack, or how do I build a tech stack, or what is a tech stack? All of this information is there. We also have just recently launched something called the Coach's Corner. This is something that gives restaurants access to people like you, Court, for a free 30-minute session. They can talk to an expert like yourself and get answers to their questions, find information they're looking for, and perhaps hopefully enter into a more long-term relationship with the coach so that they use them as a resource on an ongoing basis to help them run their business. One of the things we were talking about pay-to-play marketplaces versus other search engines or Google, and that there's organic listings and paid listings, and the importance of setting your preferred partners within Google so that you're steering customers to order or make reservations or do whatever you want them to be doing through the partners where you can ensure that they're going to get the best experience and that you're going to be profitable. If you load all that information in, consumers can see, okay, here are all my delivery options, not just the preferred one by the restaurant, but all of them. Because look, I may be a frequent user of one of the big delivery apps, and I may want to use the app, but I could see, oh, it's $4.99 for delivery through that app. but the preferred partner of the restaurant is this one, and it's only $1.99. And it gives me all of the information as a consumer, what choices I want to make. And that's one of the things we're advocating for from a public policy standpoint is transparency. Google gives consumers that transparency. The pay-to-play marketplaces on big tech third-party delivery apps don't give any transparency, and it's all pay-to-play. And so we're just trying to educate consumers. We're trying to educate restaurants so that they have all the information that they need.
Yeah. And you've got something coming up here in a couple weeks, and you do it a couple times a year, the Restaurant Marketing Summit, where there's a bunch of restaurant experts coming together. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, this is our second one. We did the first one last July and had about 1,000 people participating. It was a massive success. And so we're doing it at least once a year, probably twice a year. And so this January 31st and February 1st, 2-day, online, all virtual, completely free summit of sort of industry experts sharing real marketing strategies and tactics on how to grow your business, how to engage customers, increase customer engagement, how to institute or roll out a loyalty program, how to manage your delivery. Every aspect of your business, there is an expert sharing their expertise with really specific strategies and tactics. This isn't super high level fluff. This is actionable insights, actionable tactics that you can use immediately. We have over 25 CEOs, founders, industry leaders speaking on every aspect of marketing that a restaurant needs. And so I encourage everyone to register for the summit. Court, I'm sure you'll include some sort of mechanism for people to click to get access to it. So yeah, it's the Digital Restaurant Association Restaurant Marketing Summit. It's powered by Branded, which are incredible partner, able to access the best and the brightest in the industry and make it accessible for restaurant owners and operators of all sizes, I might add. This is for mom and pop independents and mid to large national chains as well.
Yeah, it's a great event. I'm leading a panel discussion about subscriptions, but there's a ton of other ones. Google My Business, you mentioned, doing videos and stuff. I'm super excited to see everything. So if a restaurant...
You mentioned that, Court, because subscriptions is such a hot topic. And restaurants may have heard about it, they may have read about it, but they have no idea how to do it. And so here within, a 30 to 45-minute session, they're going to hear from an expert in the space, yourself, and get how to do it, how to implement it, what the watch outs are, how to do it right. So you're not repeating the mistakes of other restaurant owner operators. You're learning from the best and rolling it out right the first time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How can people get involved? You mentioned restaurants can join. Tell us a little bit about what benefits will they get and what can they do to get involved?
Yeah, well, one, the main benefit that we're talking about in this call is around the educational information. So, just in this call, we've talked about subscription, we talked about loyalty, customer engagement, delivery, converting third-party customers to first-party customers. There's so much there, updating your Google business profile. But at the end of the day, okay, talking about it is one thing, but how to do it and how to do it quickly and effectively. And so the information is there for you in the educational hub on the DRA website. The other thing we're doing that's really important to talk about, and we talked about a little bit at the beginning, is public policy advocacy. Restaurants don't realize the power they have with their collective voice. Elected officials understand the economic engine of our restaurant community, the impact it has on the cultural and culinary, but also economic vitality of our neighborhoods, and that we need to ensure that restaurants are thriving. And what we know is when 30 to 40 to 50% of your business is not profitable, you are not thriving. And so we need to really join together as a community to let elected officials know that there is a better way, and that there's a power dynamic that has played out in the industry because of the global pandemic. And that's really important to emphasize, Court. This isn't the rise of the internet. We had the internet at the beginning of the pandemic, and for 20 years, and we had 8 to 10% of our business for takeout and delivery. Now it's 30, 40 to 50% because consumers have gotten their behaviors changed by the pandemic and the ease at which they can use their smartphones to order. But that doesn't mean that that type of business should not be profitable for restaurants. And so if we can come together as a community and let elected officials know that the power dynamic that's playing out right now is crippling the profitability of our restaurants, and that there are very easy things to do to ensure that everybody wins. Look, we want a completely profitable and sustainable delivery ecosystem for all parties. There's no reason why big tech delivery can't be making money hand over fist, and the restaurants and customers have a much better experience. You know, we spent a lot of time doing research, and we know consumers really don't like the big tech delivery apps. Why is that? They use them all the time, but why don't they like them? Why are they so quick to demand a refund when the driver takes too long, or the driver drops the food, or there's some sort of error? Maybe it could be a restaurant error as well, where they don't get the order quite right. What if the delivery apps actually connected restaurants to their customers instead of disconnecting them? What if they opened a communication channel so that they could freely communicate and so that they could resolve issues in real time? Then there isn't a negative review. Then there isn't a chargeback. And chargebacks and negative reviews are another aspect of the current delivery ecosystem that is crippling our restaurants. You know, if you have negative reviews, you don't have new customers. They're looking that you have 3.5 stars instead of 4.5 stars, and they're not even considering you in their consideration set. There are whole technologies that help restaurants manage their reviews, manage their customer feedback, manage their chargebacks. There's a whole tech ecosystem helping restaurants manage their chargebacks. The big chains have an army of people fighting chargebacks and extracting their own revenue back from big tech delivery. Mom and pop independent restaurants don't have armies of people to fight chargebacks. They just, the revenue gets extracted, and they lose out of the revenue, and they're not profitable. And now there's technology solutions. It's a Checkmate and Boosh and Otter and all of these companies where they have specific technology that helps restaurants claw back some of that revenue from big tech delivery. But that's not right. We can fix that from a public policy standpoint. We don't have to get into a tech war. It's great that these technologies exist, and we talk about them all the time because restaurants need to know they exist and they need to use them. But at the end of the day, we can also ensure from a public policy standpoint that the third-party delivery apps are regulated so that they are transparent in the fees that they charge, and they provide basic customer and order information. If you provide basic customer and order information, then restaurants have the ability to resolve issues in real time, and the negative review doesn't happen, and the chargeback doesn't happen. If you're transparent with your fees, you can't get a DoorDash receipt that says delivery is free, but they're charging the restaurant 30%. How is delivery free when there's actually a 30% commission being charged the restaurant? That is just misleading. That's a junk fee. And there's been massive legislation on the federal level and in states around the country trying to address junk fees. And in several instances, it's the third party apps have been carved out of that. In other words, excluded, where they don't have to be transparent with the fees. We're saying enough is enough. We're getting the restaurant community to be vocal, loud and proud, and say enough is enough. We need to push back on this power dynamic, and we need to have pro-restaurant, pro-business legislation that rebalances this power dynamic, that levels the playing field so everybody can succeed, everyone can win. Customers are happier because their experience is better. Restaurants are happier because 30 to 40 to 50% of their business from online orders is now profitable. And big tech delivery is happy because now customers have a better customer experience when engaging with their platform and will continue to use it and maybe won't demand a refund because the driver has dropped off another delivery first or taken too long to get there or delivered it to your neighbor's house, etc. Court, sorry, you're going to have to do some editing to clean that up. But it's, this is why I'm passionate, and this is why it's so much fun, because restaurants hear what we're doing and they can't believe it. They can't believe that someone is fighting in this way for them on this issue. And so it's very gratifying, and we have a lot of opportunities coming up where restaurants need to know, they're going to need to act. They're going to need to contact their local elected officials and say, we are so happy you're looking into this, and we demand fee transparency and customer and order information sharing with our delivery business.
Yeah. Here's a topic, and you're kind of leading into it, is AI. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, ChatGPT has been a buzzword for the last year and a half now, but AI is coming into the restaurant industry. You talk about data, being able to analyze data, online ordering. I gotta think we're not far away from just typing what we want rather than having to go to a menu. McDonald's has people-less McDonald's now, right? Where there's no people and it's just run by robots. What are some of the things restaurants need to be thinking about when it comes to automation over the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, well, for sure, if you have a bowl line, there's going to be robots that can build that bowl line. It's very expensive technology. And so we'll see if it becomes affordable for small and medium-sized restaurants. But the example I like to use, Court, where it's actionable right now, to leverage AI, because restaurants are always saying, leverage AI, I don't have a drive-through, so I don't have a bot taking orders. And even if I did, I'm not sure I could afford it. How can I use AI right now? And I talk about lineup.ai. Lineup is an incredible company that's using AI and machine learning to understand the dynamics, the economic dynamics, and the event dynamics around a restaurant for sales forecasting. Sales forecasting that allows you to have a better, more accurate understanding of what your business is and what it's going to be, based on whether or not there's a high school or college football game nearby, whether or not there's a weather event, whatever it is that's affecting your sales positively or negatively. The power of this AI tool is that it can help you with your sales forecasting so you can manage inventory better. You can manage staffing better. Wouldn't it be great if we had the right number of people on site when we needed it, and we weren't paying them when they weren't necessary? That's the power of this tool, and it's using AI and machine learning right now and totally accessible for restaurants. So
That's me.
AI.
I have not heard of that one.
Yeah.
Lineup AI, is that what you said?
Yes, it is. Lineup.ai.
Okay.
Check
Very
it out.
cool. I will check that out. Joe, this has been fabulous. How can people get involved? We got the Restaurant Marketing Summit coming up. People get involved with your advocacy work. What can they do to take the next step?
3 things. You got to join the DRA. We need you as part of our community. It's extremely inexpensive. And we're fighting for you both on the public policy advocacy space, but we're also providing a wealth of information, just a fraction of which we've talked about today, that can help you increase revenue, streamline your operations, improve profitability right now. And so join the DRA, digitalrestaurants.org. We're .org because we're a nonprofit. And so digitalrestaurants.org. Sign up for the DRA. If you have one restaurant, it's free. If you have multiple restaurants, it's $50 per location. The second thing is register for the Digital Restaurant Association Restaurant Marketing Summit powered by Branded. It's January 31st and February 1st. A ton of information with actionable insights and tactics to grow your business right now. And then the last is, once you're a member and once you're using all of the educational resources and growing your business, you have to be a part of the community that's letting our elected officials know that our small businesses and big businesses, frankly, matter in our communities, and that we need to ensure that our restaurants are thriving. Huge employers, something like 16 million people employed in the industry, economic engine of our neighborhoods, and it requires action now by elected officials to ensure the continued viability and profitability of our restaurant businesses. And so you will be asked to make a phone call to your city council member, your state congressman or assembly member. You can write letters, you can email. Anyway, we make it super easy, one-click connections to make sure restaurants are heard. And so those are basically the three ways to get involved. Join the DRA online at digitalrestaurants.org. Participate in the summit and register for the summit. And at some point, we're going to have amazing pro-restaurant legislation that we need passed, and we're going to need restaurants to be vocal in getting it done.
Joe, I love your mission. Thank you so much for all the work you're doing. It's making a big impact, and it's super cool to see all the resources and help you're giving restaurants. So we'll drop all the links below so you can check it out, register for the summit, join the Digital Restaurant Association. If you have any questions, you can reach out to Joe. Hope you learned something today. Thank you so much, Joe. We'll talk to you soon.